Welcome back to the Meeting Underground. We thank you for joining us. Today we have part 2 of our interview with Ryan LaFave, and we thank you for your support, and we are glad that he's back. We're going to talk to him a little bit more about some of the recent things he's done and the latest project he's involved with. Before all that, what do you see as the value of art? A philosophical question.
Sure. Started off with a banger. I'll roll into, we talked in the last episode about how art, and you've mentioned this in previous episodes, about how the creative process can suit any walk of life.
Right.
Creativity is in everything we do. It's in the words we say. It's in the cakes we bake. All that.
Yeah.
I have a little bit of a unique. I don't know how unique it is. I feel like maybe it's because of the fact that I'm a Libra. I don't know how much of that I buy into or not, but my symbol being a balance, the scales, everything kind of having its yin and yang, has always been kind of my mindset on a lot of things, a lot of life, new life experiences, and going in, trying to find a balance in order to just kind of keep it moving forward. I think the fact that art is a creative process, we need that. More than the fact that we can do it, I think we need it, because as humans, this is a little grim, we all know we're only here for so much time. And a lot of things get taken from us in our lives. The older we get, the more we lose. And it kind of is this one side of the scale. So I think the importance of art, the importance of dedicating your life to making something, to creating, is a little bit of a balance for each individual and for their communities and for the world at large. It's a way for us to not necessarily distract ourselves from the inevitabilities and stuff of life and the hardships, but it is a way for us to balance and for us to process what comes at us. I literally think it comes down to almost like a science. Like, we need it, because if we're just losing stuff our whole lives, what kind of contributions will we have to society or to our loved ones close to us? So it kind of keeps us level-headed.
I wrote a little clip. A lot of times, if people that have followed me on Facebook and stuff like that, they know that I do this all the time. Is I wake up and these thoughts come to me, and it's like songwriting. One of the big things to learn about being a songwriter and being an artist is a writer or any of those things is the skill or this discipline of paying attention to the things that come by us. And a lot of times I'll write quotes, and I just write them, and there's just thoughts about life, like biblically there's proverbs. Well, today we have tweets. Well, these are just little snippets of truth that kind of keep us centered. And I've been doing that for a long time. I even released a book on it. But one of the ones I just wrote that I was inspired to write, and I just wrote down, is that if we just go by how we feel about stuff, and live our life that way, all it is we're just receiving life. We're just receiving it. But if you learn to take principle, and you learn to follow principle and make principled decisions and decide to do things in a purposeful way, and take these inspirations that come to us all and actually apply yourself to them and use them, then you actually begin to contribute something back. And that's a little bit kind of like
what you're talking about.
That's the way
it's the ebb and flow of life.
Yeah, it's giving back. But art is a wonderful thing. It does make hard life easier and all that kind of stuff.
Sure.
So tell me, last time we talked about Umbrella Tree.
Right.
And from Umbrella Tree we go to the last record, which was
Memory of a Great To the Memory of a Once Great Man.
Yeah, and that was their last record.
It was their last record.
And so there was a time when they were, it was fading off, and there was a disbandment of the group. But you began working with the drummer, Derek Pearson, really talented guy.
Very talented.
Videographer, great drummer, very good, serious thinker. And you began working with him on the project called
Porcelain Teeth.
Right. Where did the name Porcelain Teeth come from? What's that about?
It sounds like it's going to be a long story. It was very simple. I think it was something Derek came up with. A lot of the clever wordplay was always attributed to him because he surpasses me in wordplay. But it was very simple. We both have fake teeth, and it was just a physical image.
And fine-looking ones, I would say. Coming from me, that's a compliment.
Well, it was. He had an accident just like me at one point in his life, and it was a little bit of like an imagery that we both bonded on just like a very surface level. You know, it was like, oh, you've been through that, I've been through that.
You had your teeth in a baseball.
Yeah, I took a baseball.
Took baseball to the mouth, and I remember that night was very traumatic.
Yeah, it was real fun.
He lost his front teeth anyway,
but yeah, so
nice
that's,
shiny ones now. He's got those pearly
porcelain.
whites.
Yeah.
So that's where the name.
That's literally
so
the name.
What did you and Derek? What kind of things you did? It's describe the kind of music and
Sure.
things you were doing.
Where Porcelain Teeth came from is we touched on it for a second in the last episode. As Umbrella Tree's writing opened up, Derek became an equal parts contributor to the writing process in the band. And in that, he started tossing ideas off me because we were hanging out a lot. And as we just did that, and as that became an exercise for him and I, we started just playing around, jamming, and stuff like that. So what Porcelain Teeth became was, it was in a way just a natural way for both of us to express other musical interests.
And the resulting was a lot more electronic, soundscapes, that kind of thing.
Very a little ambient in places, somewhat
atmospheric
like
sounding,
experimental in a sense. We were just doing it, kind of talking back to what we were just talking about with the philosophies. We just wanted to be people that made music. Like that was it. That was basically as far as all that went. We didn't consume our time with album sales or anything like that. It was more about let's just make a thing, and then let's make another thing, and let's make another thing, and that just became our first EP.
The first EP was called
Underbites.
Appropriate name
Yes.
for Porcelain Teeth.
Yeah, it was I think 5 songs.
Yeah.
I believe 5-song collection, and that was basically those jam sessions turning into things that we started hitting record on, essentially. So,
and then you did a larger effort. Hurry Up and Wait.
Hurry Up and Wait was
that the same name as the movie of it?
What Hurry Up and Wait ended up being was our album. And we went into it, it's called Hurry Up and Wait because the writing and recording process took over 5 years. It was very much, again, we were just doing it to create. We just wanted to be creators. So a lot of times we would get, 60% done within a song and we'd go, I'm not really into this anymore. Let's start over. And we would literally just start over.
Right.
So we really allowed ourselves a lot of freedom and a lot of there's a lot of green lights with our ideas and just seeing what happened. Yeah. And what ended up happening was, in my humble opinion, like a pretty crafted album, a lot of thought, very meticulously done.
And it was also a movie, a full video movie from beginning to end, and we got to all experience it. They showed it, did a premiere of it at the Belcourt Theater here in Nashville, which is a historic, really nice theater, and lots of your friends, lots of people showed up. It was a great showing, and we saw the full large screen showing of, that was called Hurry Up and Wait, right?
Yeah, it was basically
the album, but it was
video composed for the entire album.
It was really
all Derek. Derek is a madman when it comes to
he's really,
creative
really
process.
Good. You got some good write-ups again. These guys do stuff in this town. There's a magazine here called Native, and the Native said, having Porcelain Teeth as the You Ought to Know featured artist in the February issue. They featured them as somebody that is on the up and coming and somebody they should look out for. Good. You've always had good press. You guys have managed to have good press because they do good work. then there was something called it was explain the Oz Arts show, A Bending of Its Own Kind.
Oh, sure.
Explain that, and then you did some soundtrack work for this. And I'll let you explain it.
Sure. We were approached by the head of Fall. Her name was Becca, and
Fall is
an aerial dance troupe in town.
Troupe, yeah.
Really, really something else. Very
kind of stuff you.
some of the most humble and loving people you'll meet. Very easy to work with. And she approached us about potentially wanting us to just create something for this show that she was putting on. She had been planning it.
Soundscape for the performance.
For this performance, yeah. And it was something that Becca had been working on for years. It was a real personal piece to her. And I think she had been like doing rewrites on like how she wanted it, and it was a big deal. And so we were humbled and like, of course, said yes, like when and where kind of thing. What that ended up being was a song in our style, very instrumental, some lyrical, sampley stuff in there too. But something that really went well with the end production, which was, and it also had Mary Mooney's art. It was a multi-art display. You had a lot of audio going on while you're watching visual, while someone was doing live painting. It was very beautiful.
One of these that went on the road, right? It toured, right?
I believe they did a couple shows. I don't know the full extent of the tour, but I think that they.
We'll show you images as we're talking about all this stuff.
Sure.
So that was a very impressive.
It was pretty special.
Yeah, pretty cool.
Really awesome to be a part of it.
So now you're in. So you did Porcelain Teeth with Derek, and now you're back collaborating in the Mute Group, an up-and-coming group that's getting a lot of talk already because they've done a few shows and they command a bit of respect. They're really good. Explain to me Mute Group, the idea of it, and you have a release coming out soon.
Sure.
Explain to me Mute Group.
Mute Group. I find myself falling into bands, which is kind of a fun place to be. You're just like, oh, everything's established, and I have chord charts.
Didn't have to do anything, just bring my guitar.
So
you play.
I play bass.
Yeah.
I play bass and sing harmony.
Which is what you did in Umbrella Tree too.
Yes. I didn't do a whole lot of, I was playing bass for a little, maybe about a year. I didn't do any harmony there, but...
And to interrupt you, I had Tony Rainey on here, and he had put together a band, Three. We talked about that a couple episodes ago. You played bass with them too.
I was actually playing guitar.
Guitar with them, I'm sorry. You played guitar with them.
Yeah.
That was short-lived, but it was really good.
It was really good. Yeah, I kind of entered that band as they were working on an album, kind of came in, did all the guitar work and stuff for it.
Now back to Mute Group.
Super special. Yes. So Mute Group is a band fronted by Zach Gresham. It's his kind of return to music. He stepped away for, I'm assuming this, but work purposes, really focusing on his career. And, him, just like us, can't live without art. So him and John, the drummer, had been working and collaborating on some stuff of Zach's. I think just because, again, Zach just needed to create. He needed an outlet. And that was for a couple of years, I think. I don't know exactly when they began. But they were working. They may have played a show here and there with some hired guns. And were beginning demos and stuff. They were just kind of slowly taking their time, moving it forward, figuring out what to do as a band. A little bit of a gray area because I wasn't involved, but during the Three era, Zach had asked if I knew anybody who played bass, because they found themselves in a very similar situation as Umbrella Tree in the past, where they were wanting to kind of evolve the stage setup, not put all the low end and high end keys on one person, kind of spread that that sonic escape, allow for more to happen basically within your arrangements. And he asked if I knew anybody, and I was like, no, but I'll keep an eye out. And then about a week or two later, I got an email from him just saying, like, I thought you might say something when I asked if you knew a bass player, because I know you're a bass player, and I was like, well, guilty.
You're a little thick, a little.
But you know, I want to. I don't want to assume, especially when I find myself falling into projects. I don't ever want to go into it with assumptions. I want to go into it with open mind and like, you know exactly what is needed of me. So we began talking about me playing, and I agreed to basically an audition. I said, I don't want to think that I'm right for the part. I want you three, who is Amy, John, and Zach, I want you guys to tell me that I'm right for the part. Don't want any favoritism. I want it to be for the sake of the band.
Because you're an addition in a complementary element.
It needs to feel comfortable. Yeah. So I did that. I auditioned, I think it was about 2, maybe 3 practices. I just kind of came in. They gave me charts. I played along the best I could. Fubbed up here and there, but nothing like that I was like sweating over. And then, they just asked if I wanted to be a personal or a permanent member. Which, of course, is said.
And at that time, you were in 3 2.
3 was still happening at that
Still
time.
happening.
Mm-hmm.
I saw you guys at Fun Object. When Tony was on, I told him the same thing. I saw 3 and then Mute Group. First time I saw the Mute Group was at Fond Objects downtown.
Yeah.
I was stunned. It was just my funny side of looking at it was like Umbrella Tree minus all the Renaissance stuff. But it was really, really good. And then I saw you again. You played together again at the Bowery Vault.
We did the Bowery Vault, yes. That show was great.
And then we had a guest on back in 8 and 9, I believe, Kyle. Kyle's in Cloudmouth. You guys played in their band's album release night over at
the East Room.
And that night when I watched you guys play, I was really, really blown away. The Mute Group is one of the highest caliber sounding groups I've seen in this area, and this is my perspective, and it's not because he's my son. It was one of the very highest caliber shows, reminiscent to me of things like Radiohead-ish kind of Radiohead. I always do that ish stuff. Radiohead, that kind of thing. In my view of it was that they're just one of the best bands, and they're just getting started. And you have a record coming out.
Yes, our first album on YK Records comes out October 5th, and it's called Sinister Hand. It is.
So that'll be a couple of weeks from now, as of the airing of the show.
Yeah, we're really excited. It's a really strong record, and I'm saying that because I love it.
Yeah.
And it was really fun to be a part of.
Yeah.
And
and your live stuff is just really. You guys like your live show?
That's our favorite part.
It's just amazing.
We love practicing.
Very low key, sitting in chairs type approach, and just music just swells over the audience. It was really, really good, and looking forward to more of that. Do you want anything else you want to say about specifics? Something we might have missed about Mute Group?
No, just to keep on the lookout.
And who are the people in it?
We got Amy Gill. And John Westbury on drums, and Zachary Gresham on guitar,
and Ryan. And you, all of this stuff, this release is going to be called what? What's the album going to be called?
The album's called Sinister Hand.
Sinister Hand, and it'll be October
5th.
And it'll be everywhere.
Yes, everywhere.
We're fortunate to have a live video of 2 songs, 2 video recorded songs from the upcoming record, and you want to introduce that?
Sure.
First,
go ahead.
Well, thank you for joining us. Thank you for being a part of the show. If you're watching us on the vidcast, there's a link. You can watch it. You can go right to the podcast. If you're at the podcast, there's a link at the bottom. You can go right over to the vidcast. Watch us, hear us, listen to us. Subscribe. We appreciate that. Download things, watch, viewing. All the amount of viewing we get is a big part of the value of the show and the success of the show. Anyway, we appreciate you. Thank you. Now you can introduce the video.
Sure. This video is from a house show we did in East Nashville recently. And it was a really special night that we, just so we can kind of share some of our live show with people essentially out of town. These are two songs from the new album, Sinister Hand. Ezra's at Mesa Las is the first one. It's the shorter of the two. And then the second song is Sun Worship. So I hope you enjoy.
Hope you enjoy it. Thank you.
Children's tomb. We smeared honey on their mother's wool. I wrote something awful on a rock. Ezra set me set